Okay, listen up. I'm going to be your kind of skeptical guide here today. We need to talk about something you're probably seeing everywhere. Prediction markets. Everyone's hyping them up as this brilliant new way to make money. But let's be real. It's time someone actually pulled back the curtain and showed you what's really going on.
So to get started, let's just look at the kind of sophisticated financial questions you can bet on. Yeah, this is not exactly trading stocks and bonds, is it? It's literally celebrity gossip. But they've dressed it up to look like a legitimate investment.
And it doesn't just stop with pop culture. You can actually, and I'm not kidding, bet on the second coming. I mean, they'll tell you this is all about gathering data, engaging public sentiment, but come on, what kind of a market are we really talking about here?
Or, hey, you can go for something really important. The point I'm trying to make is that pretty much anything, no matter how silly, can be turned into a yes or no, all or nothing bet. They call these event contracts. And the scary part is, they're selling this to you as a real way to invest your money.
All right, so let's get into their sales pitch. I mean, we got to understand why this whole thing is so tempting in the first place, right? The big idea they're selling is that you can cash in on what you already know.
And this is the big brain idea they use to justify it all. It's called wisdom of the crowds. The theory goes, if you get a ton of people to put actual money down on something, the collective guess of that crowd is going to be way more accurate than any single so-called expert. Think of it like the stock market, but for everything.
So this is how they claim they're better than something like a regular old poll. Their argument is that when people have skin in the game, their own cash on the line, they'll think harder and be more honest. They won't just say what they want to happen. The idea is that the market cuts through all the noise and shows you the raw truth right now. And look, I get it. It sounds pretty good on paper.
Okay, so that's the theory. That's the nice, shiny story they tell you. But now we're going to look at the cold, hard numbers. Let's see what actually happens to your money when you get involved. So get this. An analysis of Polymarket, one of the biggest names in the game, found that this, 84%, is the number of users who lose money. Just let that number sink in for a second. 84%. This isn't investing. For almost everyone who tries it, it's a machine designed for you to lose.
And here's the bottom line. The median return, meaning the typical experience for a regular user like you, is negative 8%. You'd actually be better off statistically betting on sports. So much for being the smart money, right?
This chart right here just lays it all out. Look, the little guys, the retail users, are consistently in the red. And who's making money? The pros, the big money players and market makers. It's a system where money is basically being siphoning away from thousands of small accounts and into the pockets of a tiny few. But wait, it gets worse. It's not just that the odds are bad. We've got to talk about the fact that this playing field is anything but level. For some people, it looks like the game is straight up rigged. Check this out. This is a pattern that keeps showing up. You'll see these markets on like super sensitive military or political events. And then bam, huge amounts of money are bet, just days or even hours before the news officially breaks. That is a textbook sign of insider trading. People betting on something they know is going to happen.
And it's not just some shadowy geopolitical stuff. I mean, NPR found a trader who made $300,000 betting on presidential pardons. These were bets that looked completely crazy to everyone else, right up until the moment they paid off. You have to understand, you're not playing against other college kids. You could be playing against someone who literally already has the answer key. So you might be asking, who's the cop on the beat here? Who's policing all this? The short answer? Pretty much nobody. The main regulator, the CFTC, has spent more time fighting states that want to ban these platforms than they have going after actual insider traders. The only 2 cases they've ever brought were basically gift-wrapped and handed to them by one of the companies. It's wild.
Okay, now we get to the part that's most important for you. We absolutely have to talk about how these companies are targeting you specifically. They are using a very sophisticated, very aggressive marketing machine to get you hooked. Just look at these numbers. For a platform like Kalshi, almost a quarter of their users are under 25. Compare that to something like DraftKings, where it's only 7%. This is not a coincidence. This is a strategy. They are coming for you. Period.
And how do they do it? They tap right into your biggest fears. Things like paying rent. This was from an actual ad. It's the perfect example of how they sell a get-rich-quick fantasy as the answer to real, legitimate financial stress. It's incredibly predatory. I mean, it gets even crazier. Don't get a job, do this instead. That's a real message they push. They're trying to position this gambling as a real career path. It's tapping into that feeling of, well, the system is rigged anyway, so why bother? And offering a dangerous, risky alternative.
And they are using every single trick in the book to reach you. You've got these weird, trippy AI-generated ads. They're co-opting memes and trends like girl math to make it feel fun and savvy. They're paying influencers you follow, and maybe the worst part, they pay you to sign up your own friends, turning you into a part of their marketing machine.
So we need to take a step back and talk about the real price of all this. Because look, it's not just about losing a few bucks. The fallout from this stuff can be absolutely devastating, not just for individuals, but for everyone.
Let's be perfectly clear. This is not a game. Gambling addiction is a massive public health crisis. It ruins lives, families, everything. And what these platforms do so cleverly is they bypass all the usual warnings about gambling by calling themselves finance. They dress it up in a suit and tie, which makes it so much easier for people, especially young people, to get sucked into something incredibly dangerous without even realizing it.
And this gets us to a really important idea in economics: moral hazard. Basically, it means if you offer a payout for something bad happening, you might accidentally encourage people to make that bad thing happen. Think about it. When you can bet on horrible things like wars or assassinations, you're creating a really twisted incentive. It's a very dark path to go down.
So at the end of the day, their whole defense boils down to this: it's all worth it because of the valuable data we're creating. That's the argument, that this wisdom of the crowds is so important that it justifies everything else. But that leaves us with the big question, the one you have to think about. Is it? Is that data really worth all the lost money, the rigged games, and the very real addictions it creates? They're aiming all of this right at you, so you have to be the ones to decide if the price is worth paying.